Cheers to adulting.
I'm Ashley Barajas.
And I'm Abby Rosemarin.
And this is Cheers to Adulting. Oops, excuse me.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. So, today we are drinking
Let's call it a watermelon spritzer.
watermelon spritzer. That sounds good. So, watermelon juice, Sprite, and vodka.
All right? Pretty simple, y'all.
Yeah. It's cheap.
It's
What we had.
It'll get you drunk.
Yeah, there you go. So today, trigger warning? I don't know.
Honestly, if you need a trigger warning for this, you need to do a little soul searching.
Or you should, you probably would have stopped listening to our podcast
a
ages
really
ago.
long time ago, because I feel like we have touched upon this particular topic off and on throughout the entire podcast.
Yeah. So the majority of this episode, we're going to be talking about genitals.
Penises and vaginas, everybody.
Penises and vaginas. You got one, I got one. There's so many different names for the things.
Right? Some of them are anatomical, some of them are outright like something out of a Ron Jeremy film, like...
Yeah, so before we get into it, any adulting or non-adulting of the week?
I will say that today was like a banner day for adulting. And I needed that because I had been kind of just slogging across the board.
Slogging?
Slogging. 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 And this is a great time to mention that I'm actually dyslexic. So that right there was not even alcohol induced. Like that's just, my brain can't do the letter thing.
The letter thing.
So yeah, no, today was just a change of pace from just my not being able to adult. From the get-go, from like 7:30 in the morning onwards, it was just like I was on point. I was sending out these emails. I was like preparing these videos for this new class that I'm going to be starting up at a chiropractor's office. I went to essentially it's the recording studio for like all the fucking radio shows in New Hampshire, the NH1 studio area in Concord, if y'all have ever driven by that beautiful building. I went there to do a radio show with a Dr. Stephanie who runs Half Hour to Health, which runs every Saturday on 107.7 FM.
You should tell her that she should have us on.
I know, right? Like it'd be like, hey, can you bring us both on? And can you get a third mic on that bitch?
Yeah.
But if you're
We can
interested, right? We could
Get up in there.
we'll get up in that bitch.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Every man's dream, is to see two women on one mic.
So radio show.
So radio show, and then immediately after that, I went on a run because I knew the day was going to be chaotic for me, and retrograde is kicking my fucking ass.
Yeah.
So, so it's been a rough one, and I've noticed it's been rough across the board.
Fuck Mercury in retrograde up its ass.
Right? Like,
without lube.
for real, and it deserves it. It fucking deserves it.
Hard.
So I was like, I need to do a little self-care. I'm really not going to have much time to go on a run unless I literally show up to the recording and decide that the leggings that I'm wearing during the recording is going to be the leggings I go running in. And that is literally what I did. I walked out. I technically parked my car a block away because I didn't want to get towed because I was technically no longer a patron or a tenant of that building and I didn't want to get towed. But then I just ran around Concord for 5 fucking miles. And by the way, Concord is a small fucking town. Like, for those of you who have not been to New Hampshire and you think, oh, the capital of New Hampshire and blah, 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 blah.
Concord's the capital?
Concord is the capital, y'all.
I thought it was Manchester.
Manchester is the biggest in terms of size and population, but Concord is where the state capital is at, y'all.
Well, you know what?
You learned some
I've
shit.
only been here for
2 years?
Year and a half?
Years? Maybe a year and a half?
Yeah.
It feels like so much longer.
I know, right?
Ah,
We
but-
had our anniversary
That's
recently.
true. Our Cheers to Adulting anniversary.
Yay!
And
we should have done like presents or a cake or something.
I know. Well, we're getting sloshed, so it's good enough.
Yeah.
And I did 3 loads of laundry and fucking just, I nailed that shit.
Crushing it.
Fucking crushing it. My last class of the day, it was a brand new session, brand new students. It's a prenatal class that runs in 8-week sessions. And I found out that one of those students didn't speak a lick of English and she was gonna have an interpreter, and I knocked that shit out of the park. Granted, I was so brain fried afterwards that I nearly got into a car crash because I forgot to signal for a left-hand turn and did not think that the people coming at me had the light going for them. So I was like, oh, let me slam on the brakes real quick, and realize after the fact that I would have been the cause of the crash because I did not realize that was only a green light, not a green arrow light, and I didn't signal. So that's all on me.
That gives me fucking anxiety.
I know, right? Oh, it gives me anxiety. I'm still thinking about it, being like, holy fucking, there's an alternative universe me. Like, that was like so intense that the universe split in 2, and now there's a universe out there where I did get into a car crash. Like, that's how intense it was. But I'm not gonna let that negate the fact that today was a fucking adulting day for me.
Adulty as fuck.
Adulty as fuck while being retrograded as fuck.
Fucking retrograde.
I know, right? And on that note.
So, first, I'm going to reflect upon our last episode, the auto episode. And I don't think I told you guys yet.
Oh.
So I think it's hilarious, as Michael said, you don't listen to your own podcast. I do, but it means like as we're recording it. So last week, was it last week? Man, time flies.
Retrograde as fuck.
I think it was last week. My car, I had a like fucking gashed tire, like a blowout.
Oof.
And I was like, fuck, I don't have AAA yet.
Oh no.
I didn't think I had a spare. I do nothing, all these things I should have learned, right? And so I text we call ourselves the Square. So, because it's 4 of us and we've all like bonded really closely and we're always constantly talking to each other in this group text.
Shall we say quad goals?
Yeah. Quad goals, yes. So I text them, I'm like, fuck, I like was on my way home from work and I said, I have a blowout, I don't know what to do. And then I also texted Michael, who should not be anyone's emergency contact usually.
This is true, everybody.
I mean, he doesn't like to be attached to his phone. He's, Ron Swanson.
He's unplugged.
It's fine.
Which is great. You just got to make sure that your emergency contact is somebody who has their phone nearby.
Yeah. So I'm texting them, and Ben and Christine, God bless you, they were like, okay, we'll come and get you, because Courtney was somewhere else. And they're like, oh, do you have a spare? And I was like, no, I don't have a spare. And meanwhile, as they're trying to make their way to me, or before then, I'm calling AAA and I say, I don't have AAA. I need AAA. Sign me up now. Come help me. And so they're like, okay, it's like $49 for the year. Okay, fine, great. But if you want to use it the same day, you have to pay an additional $50. Oh. And I'm like, I don't have a choice. Fine, fucking do it. So then they transfer me to the people who would come and do this, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to collect the $50. But if you don't use it, you'll get refunded, or you won't be charged. Okay. Well, my bank is online banking only, Chime. We're not sponsored. Highly recommend it. It's online banking only. It's amazing. I get paid 3 days early. So I already see the charge of $50 and go through. I'm like, fine. Well, I'm using it. Well, it's like 6 o'clock. All the shops are closed. I'm pulled over on the side of the road, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just leave my car and do this in the morning, because then I won't have to pay that $50.
There we go.
Oh, so how do I reverse that charge? Oh, I don't know. You'll have to file a claim or whatever. And I said, well, you also said that I wasn't going to have to anyway. It's neither here nor there. I didn't even have to file a claim. I got refunded recently.
What's up?
Long story short. Okay. So Ben and Christine come. I'm in their car. We're waiting for the police to come because we need to find out if it's okay for me to leave my car. Michael finally texts me back. Hey, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. You don't have a spare? And I said, I don't think so, question mark. I didn't even look. I don't even know where it would be, because like I've opened my trunk millions of times. my dad, mom, they didn't teach me these things,
Yeah.
okay? So he was like, it would be under the, so before I got the text, we're like, well, I guess we'll go look. And then Ben and Christine are like, yeah, it would be underneath the carpet thing. And I said, I didn't even know that. So I have a bunch of shit in the back of in my trunk, like climbing gear and like those, token bags that are supposed to go to Goodwill.
Yeah.
So I'm taking everything and putting them in my back seat. Finally we lift it. Oh shit, I have a spare tire. Oh shit, my car also comes with the things to change the said tire. I didn't know your car comes equipped with like a fucking jack and all this shit.
The more you know.
Yeah. So then I'm like, I don't know how to change it, even though Abby clearly did a step-by-step in our last episode. So Ben and Christine, it was mostly Christine. I mean, Ben tried to help, but Christine's like fucking Canadian, and she fucking took control.
Fuck yeah.
God bless Canada.
Right. Oh, Canada.
They let me help a little bit. But like as she was like setting it up and started to jack she loosened the bolts. And as she was loosening the bolts, Ben said, aren't you supposed to jack it first? And I said, no. On my podcast, Abby said you loosen them a little bit and then you jack it.
What?
It was
And
all
then you
coming
jack it,
back. And I was
everybody,
like,
remember? With
wow,
the
how
wood and
drunk was I when we recorded that episode? But I'm starting to remember.
It's all coming back
Long
to me
story
now.
short, they put my spare on the next morning and I got a new tire, which cost $120.
Isn't that fucking criminal, y'all?
For a Toyota Camry. Apparently, the kind of Toyota Camry I have is like a speed kind. So like tires go from, and I know this is like, I'm doing longer than I should.
It's all good.
So letters on a tire for speed ratings go from like, I don't know, C or something all the way to like W. Mine needs a V.
Ooh.
And it means it needs more expensive. Of course, my fucking luck. So
Aren't
yeah,
V's so expensive?
that was last week.
It's hard to own a V, everybody.
Yeah, hard to own a V. Speaking of V's,
Right?
yeah, because we don't need to talk about. I cleaned up one room filled with laundry. I have another bathroom filled with laundry. So on to vaginas.
Vagine,
I think we should start you off with
All right.
some vaginal health.
Let's talk about the vagine, everybody.
The Vaj Mahal.
Taj Mahal, exactly. So let's talk a little bit of vagina health because
We're gonna say vagina so fucking much.
And I'm gonna say right now that when I say vagina, I'm actually gonna use it in
Encompassing?
Yeah, it's the colloquial vagina, which by the way, colloquial vagina is the name of my new indie band. Like that's amazing.
Yes, let's
right?
do it.
I'll be on bass, you can be on drums.
Or a trivia name. Colloquial vagina.
Yes, that is happening. We're going to go to trivia night purely so we can use colloquial vagina.
Okay.
But anyways, so colloquial vagina. So that means it's everything from the vulva, labia,
Clitoris.
the clitoris, right? Labia minor and major, and the vagina itself. And for those who don't know, when I talk about yes.
Don't mean to cut you off,
Mm-hmm.
but did you see that article recently?
About the mansplaining of vagina?
No,
Oh, okay.
but that was also fucking awful. So they did a survey of it was a UK survey that, I forget, it was like very embarrassing of how many women in the UK, men and women, and it was like a surprising percentage of women that did not know where their vagina was. Like showing a thing of the whole, genital area for women, and they didn't know where the vagina was.
Oh no.
They misidentified like clitoris and the urethra and all of that.
Oh boy, that's just, see, sex health, guys.
Do not feel bad. We need to just educate. Just get a mirror and stare
Right?
at it.
Get a mirror, get on Wikipedia.
Don't just stare at it. Eat it. If you don't know that reference, Google it.
Right.
Or also, you might get some porn. So it's from the movie American Abby.
Psycho.
Yeah. There you go. On the nose.
Right. Anyways, let's talk about a vagina. And again, all-encompassing vagina. And very quickly, for those who didn't hear about the mansplaining of vagina, like there was a man who told a fucking gynecologist on Twitter who was talking about vulvas that you mean vagina, and he motherfucking doubled down when the entire Twitter world was like, no, you're an idiot and you're telling a gynecologist what a vulva is, so stop. So, and again, if you were that type of person, just fucking stop. Anyways, just fucking stop. So vagina health, which honestly, for a lot of us, it's a little bit of a trial and error. Like nobody really teaches us this stuff. And unfortunately, that makes us very susceptible to old wives' tales, to, basically internet urban legends. And I'm going to start with one of the biggest, most pervasive and long-lasting ones, which is you do not need to fucking douche.
Don't douche.
Oh my God, do not douche, ya douche. So
just like mouthwash.
Right?
Don't do it.
You don't need to fucking do it. In fact, it's actually detrimental for you to be doing it. I'm going to be going back to this particular phrase over and over again, but your body, your vagina, your vulva has a very delicate pH balance, and things like that can fuck your shit up.
It's a delicate flower.
It is a delicate feminine flower and treat it as such. And likewise, can you please, for the love of God, stop putting garlic up your vagina?
I've done that.
Oh.
I don't do it anymore.
Well, you learned your lesson. You learned your lesson.
Well, I didn't do anything bad, but
well, there we go.
There are better ways.
There are much better ways.
But desperate times call for garlic, I guess.
anything to make this stop. But yeah, garlic, coconut oil, parsley. There's this wonderful Facebook group.
Apple cider vinegar.
Yeah. There's this wonderful Facebook group called "Stop Putting Stuff Up Your Vagina, Karen. It's not a pocket."
Excuse me. Why haven't you added me to this group?
I will fucking
add you to all of my Facebook
I know.
groups.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to fucking add you. But I'm pretty sure that group got tagged in a bunch of the groups that we're both a part of.
Oh, okay.
So that was just me being woke as fuck and seeing this group. But seriously, stop putting stuff up there. It's not a fucking pocket.
For you. It's nature's pocket when hiding weed from the cops.
Well, you know what? I mean, I cannot advocate drug trafficking, but, if that is how you need to use that pocket, God bless you. More power to you. But seriously, fucking stop it. STAHP, stop. Stop. Like, I can't, again, your body has a delicate pH balance. You're going to fuck your shit up doing that. It's not going to solve whatever it is you think you're going to solve. It's not going to solve. So things like UTIs. I hate to break it to you guys, cranberry juice is not going to prevent UTIs. I know.
What?
I know, right?
I don't get UTIs, but
Right?
that's
Knock
what
on
I
wood.
always heard.
That's what I heard. You drink a lot of cranberry juice, you prevent a UTI. There is actually one way it technically can help prevent a UTI, and it is because you're drinking a lot of fluids and you're gonna pee more. So a lot of us women have heard.
They do like cranberry extract and stuff for like cat shit to help with UTIs.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yeah, so I'm curious. But I mean, that's not like stuff that's prescribed from the vet, but like all the products out there, they have like cranberry extract in it.
I wonder if they're just cashing in on that old
I'm
wives'
wondering
tale.
if maybe cranberry juice is not going to help prevent it, but maybe like if you're having like more solid like cranberry, maybe there's a certain for another episode.
Yeah, I'm going to have to research that. I did not research cranberries in general, but I did research the cranberry juice.
Which is probably just a bunch of sugar, which is probably just feeding more into that infection.
Right, like, ugh. But really, the only way that could be helping is the fact that you're taking in more fluid, so you're peeing more often, which is a great way to flush out bacteria. Which gets me into my next little segue part 2, which is peeing after sex. Most women, myself included, have been told, make sure you pee after sex. The bacteria that might get built up, or they might get into your urethra, if you pee it out, then it can't go basically up the canal or get things infected. So that is actually true. Peeing will flush it out. But here's the interesting thing I found in my research. There is no specific time in order to do that. It's not like, okay, you do that in 30 fucking seconds or you're going to get a UTI, or you do that in 5 minutes or you're going to get a UTI. Like, just make sure you go pee within a relatively rational window.
Ours is just like, as soon as we finish, we have like a, I don't know, 1 minute rest period. And then it's like, all right, let's, if you want to, I do have a stand-up bit about this.
Yes,
where
I've seen
we
this.
separate ourselves and I make a beeline very cautiously to the bathroom because I don't need to use condoms because we're only sleeping with each other and I have an IUD and there's, semen trying to escape and I need to make it to the toilet so I can pee and let some of that evacuate.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a unveiling of reality for those who do not have unprotected sex. Like, that semen doesn't want to stay there. Like, as a married woman with an IUD myself, I know exactly what Ashley is talking about, and that is within about like a minute, I'm technically going pee because it's like, hey, that needs to evacuate into an area that is not gonna.
And I
be
definitely,
disgusting.
if I'm going to bed shortly after that, I typically want to wear like underwear instead of just sleeping naked because it keeps coming out.
It really does. Like, I am so sorry for that. Like, honestly, I feel like this right here is
like
a wonderful
still dripping out.
Right? Like, this right here is a wonderful
The
PSA
little
for
Michaels
condoms.
that could be.
Little mini guys.
No, don't let us go.
I want to make a baby.
Evacuate. Gandalf said no.
Right.
You shall pass.
But for real, this is becoming a PSA for condoms. Like, forget like the preventing the spread of STIs and getting pregnant. It is like your life is on pause if a guy ejaculates into you. Like, because it really is. Like, it's just like, all right, so that's just gonna keep going, and I'm gonna have to like change my underwear, or I'm gonna smell like this all fucking day. It's the worst. It's the fucking worst. Anyway, so use condoms and pee after sex, but you don't have to worry about setting a stopwatch. I think that was my moral of this story. Yeah, let's go with that.
Eventually.
Exactly. So let me go real quick about discharge. Discharge. Yeah, I know, right?
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna
getting
go
there.
We're gonna get into the nitty gritty right now. Oh, do not worry about it. How about that? We'll get a. We'll just get down to the base on this one. Like,
everybody poops. Everybody's got discharge.
Everybody's got discharge. Do not freak out about discharge. It is normal. It is a natural infection-resistant fluid that flushes out dead cells and protects your vagina from unwanted bacteria. So again, all that talk about, peeing after sex, flushing out bacteria, and so on and so forth, that discharge that you have to wash out, it's normal. You're supposed to. It's supposed to happen. However, if you are noticing a change in, say, smell or like how it looks, maybe it burns when you pee, go see a fucking doctor, okay? Go see a fucking doctor. And really, the homeopathic remedies don't fucking work. Again, don't put garlic up your hoo-ha. Don't put parsley up your hoo-ha. Don't, just fucking don't. Like, just go.
Although, I will say, in the meantime, until you get to that appointment, coconut oil, not up there, only exterior, because it's great lubricant, and it also is great. It is antimicrobial, and antifungal, I believe, as well. For me, it does. I don't get UTIs, but I do get yeast infections. Not as it's been a while, and it does soothe because it feels like a paper cut. And it's very itchy and annoying, and coconut oil does do that. So don't put it up there.
Right?
It's on the
It's
outside.
not a fucking pocket, Karen.
It's not a pocket. But I mean, you can put coconut oil up your vagina, but not douching. Meaning you can use it as lube, but it's not a solution.
Yeah, it is not a solution. See your fucking doctor. Get an antibiotic.
Yeah.
And
Antibiotics are your friends.
They really are. So long as it's a bacterial infection. If it's viral, you're kind of shit out of luck.
Just write it out.
Sorry about that.
Or get you vaccinated.
Hey, what's up? HPV, guys. This is, you know what? I didn't even have this in my notes, but I'm just going to take a moment. I'm HPV vaccinated. I'm very happy that I got my HPV vaccination, even though I am married. Apparently, issues with HPV and cervical cancer are down like 70%.
I don't think I am. Because we were in that before it was even.
That's
we
true.
started
Like,
to get vaccinated.
We were 17, 18 years old when
Yeah.
Gardasil came out. So, and I decided that because, yeah, it has to be around that time because that is when I started seeing the lady doctor and the lady doctor recommended it. And I was like, well, if it's covered by insurance, let's fucking do this. Like, you know, I was with my, I was even older than that. I was like 19 years old because I was with my husband at that time. He wasn't my husband back then. He was my boyfriend. And I was like, well, I'm with exactly one guy, but you know what? Let's
I think I got
this.
tested and he said like, if I didn't, I don't know. I think he said because like, you either have, like, if you get it, you get it. And I only had, have one partner when I last went, and it's just like, at this point. But if you're like sexually active, just fucking, it's just one more vaccine.
It's
one more
covered
foolproof,
usually by
you know what I mean?
insurance. And again, like I said, like HPV and cervical cancer is down. And while they can't say definitively it's because of the Gardasil vaccine, a lot of them are saying, well, common sense says it's the Gardasil vaccine. So if you have a vagina, that might be something. Hey, right? These people over here have a vagina. That might be something you might want to consider. And with that, I'm going to bring the mic over to Ashley so she can start with hers.
I got my own mic. All right.
I know, right? I'm talking
Please. Kegels. Let's get fucking real.
real up in this bitch.
Yeah, so exercise is important, as our resident yoga teacher / etc. will tell you.
Get your cardio in.
Yeah, so it keeps your body healthy, keeps it in shape, it makes things work better. So Kegels are just another form of exercise. It's literally exercise, but targeted towards your vaginal area, like your pelvic floor. So I'll be the first to say that I need to be doing my Kegels, but I don't. So do as I say, not as I do. So if you don't know what Kegels are, it's an exercise to strengthen your vaginal muscles, your pelvic floor. So strengthening the pelvic floor can help with incontinence, pelvic floor disorders, and big bonus, it helps improve your sex life. Whee!
What's up?
So also, who knows, fun party trick, shooting ping pongs out of your vagina.
Why not? I mean,
So a while ago, I bought this, I feel like I've talked about it on the podcast at one point.
I feel like, yeah.
I bought this Kegel toy. So it's not like a toy like sex, fun stuff sort of toy. It's a toy because, so it connects to a game, an app, via Bluetooth, and you play the game by inserting it into your hoo-ha, and you do Kegels on the device to make like a bird or a butterfly go up and down to like get stars or coins or whatever shit. And so it's a fun game. I remember when I had got it delivered to the house, I showed Michael and he was like, it looks like a fucking butt plug. And I'm like, it's not. And then he was like, he's like not interested in learning about any of that. So then I went into the other room, put it in, came back, and pulled up the game, and I was like, hey, look. And he was watching the game, and he's seeing the thing go up and down, and I'm not touching it because I'm just viewing it on my phone.
Magic.
And I'm like, I'm controlling it with my vagina. And he started laughing. It's, you gotta appreciate it.
Right?
I remember seeing the ad for it before I backed it on Kickstarter. And it had like a mom and a child, and she was watching her mom play it, and she clearly has it in her vagina. Hilarious. And I was just like, just that alone. But really, there's a real reason why. If you want a little less of a hands-on, even though you're not really hands-on, but you're kind of lazy and you want to play a game or anything, so you have Kegel weights. So Kegel weights are, cycling back to ping pongs, they're about the size of a ping pong ball, maybe smaller, but they're weighted. And they have different level weights depending on your level of expertise of vaginal weightlifting. They have a string attached, so it's not going to get lost in the abyss of your vagina.
The abyss of your vagina.
I can't help it if I have a heavy flow and a wide set vagina. Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm. Watch that shit if you haven't already.
Yeah. So speaking of Mean Girls, so with these weights, you can just sit on the fucking couch, watching Mean Girls, and occasionally off and on, you can squeeze those pussy muscles.
What's
all right?
up?
Getting a strong vag. You can also walk around your house with it in there, and just like that very act of like holding that weight in there, it's not gonna like come, you know how vagina works, it's not just gonna like droop out. But like your muscles are having to act holding that in there, and you can also squeeze as you're just like vacuuming washing the
with
dishes
your vag.
with your vag, yeah. So incontinence or stress incontinence is very, very common in women. I suffer from stress incontinence. So stress incontinence happens when you accidentally pee from stupid shit like sneezing, coughing, jumping, running, weightlifting, like anything. All of those sort of things put stress on your bladder, and when your pelvic floor is weak, such as mine, you're no match for holding your pee in. So sneezing is a fucking gamble, and it's not fun. I learned very quickly that there was like a jump roping exercise class when I worked in the corporate office. So I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I haven't jumped roped in forever.
Yep.
Yeah, I learned very quickly. I was like, well, I gotta have to commit. I'm just gonna, thank God there's showers and I can change after this. I was like, little pee, little pee, little pee, little pee, little pee,
I've been
little
there
pee.
if it's anything. Like, I don't like to jump rope for exactly that reason.
Yeah, it is so fucking common. And it's just like, anytime I see this, I'm like, I may or may not pee a little. I'm not like emptying my whole bladder, but it's just like pressure on your bladder.
Yep.
And I have a weak pelvic floor. Like, I've had issues since I was a kid. I grew too fast for my bladder. Tall little thing. Definitely, like, let's be real here. If Sarah Silverman can talk about it, I wore pull-ups longer than I should have. Not because I had no control, but because, or I guess because I had no control. It wasn't that I was like, you know, a future serial killer.
Yeah.
As is very common. Bedwetting is common in serial killers. It's common in serial killers because more often than not, they have been sexually molested, and bedwetting is a common.
That's one of those little correlation, not causation situations. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, besides that, kegels are great to prepare for childbirth. It strengthens that pelvic floor. Think of it, you're just, you'll be prepped. When that baby comes, you can shoot it out like a ping pong ball. Bringing it back. All jokes aside, it will make for an easier childbirth. It'll still fucking hurt. Unless you get that sweet, sweet epidural.
Right.
But it will make it easier. It's also good to do kegels post-childbirth as well. Any mother will tell you that they suffer from stress incontinence post-childbirth. They just did the fucking workout of their goddamn life with their vagina. So those muscles are gonna be fatigued, they're gonna be weak, so they're gonna need to have some help getting back in shape.
Right.
But definitely consult with your doctor before you start doing kegels post-childbirth to find out when it is appropriate for you and your body to start doing those kegels. So yeah, kegels, they're good for you, and when you're strengthening those pelvic muscles, you can have much better orgasms and better sex. So it's a win-win.
Right. Anything that can give you better sex. I'm just saying.
Sign me up.
Right. So I'm going to go from the vagina health into the penile health. So let's talk about penises real quick.
What up, man?
Right?
What's up?
You don't think we forgot about you guys. Don't think we forgot about you. Like, there's some
I feel like we should have started with it's what it is.
It is what it is. If you were patient enough to listen to all the stuff about women before we got to you, you deserve to hear about this. You are our type
Champions.
of guy. Like, exactly. If you're the kind of guy that's being like, oh, they're talking about women, fuck this shit, you don't deserve this advice, buddy. I'm sorry.
I mean, if you left it discharged, I don't blame you.
Right? Like, maybe just plug your ears and be like, la, 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 I didn't hear anything. But let's talk about the penis, everybody. So here's the
All right.
Right, let's talk about the penis. What's up? Let's talk about that D.
Yeah, that D. I like that D.
Right? I'm loving that D.
I like
Can't get
that D,
enough of
that
that
D.
D. What's up? What's up?
All right, penis.
So let's talk about penis other than
Your peckers.
right?
Fucking hate that word. My mom used to call
Honestly,
my brothers
ooh.
penises peckers.
Oh no. You're not a bird outside hitting
Pull your
against a
pants up. I can almost see your pecker. And I'm like, oh, mom, don't say
Ooh,
pecker.
No, that's just, yeah. You know what? On that note, I'm actually going to skip to my second line over here and say, when you are with your doctor, make sure you're using your anatomical terms. Like, don't do things like, oh, my pecker, my hoo-ha, my whatever. Like,
My
fucking-
rod.
My rod. Like,
My pillar.
fucking say,
Penis.
Penis, shaft, head, testicles, like urethra. Fucking use the anatomical terms. Because here's the thing. Foreskin, exactly. Like
No
fucking,
shaming.
Exactly. You
Some
know
have
what?
foreskins.
Exactly. And I'm actually going to jump right to one of my last lines, which is only 30% of the world is circumcised. No fucking shame if you're not circumcised. I will say that I'm one of those women that I actually don't give a shit. Like, can you perform in bed? That's all that fucking matters. So honestly, like, I'm one of those women who I don't fucking care if a guy is circumcised or not. That's never been an issue for me. So here's the thing. So no stigma for those who are not circumcised. And it's actually kind of really dumb that there's any type of stigma to begin with. Like, hey, you didn't have a part of your genitals cut off. Aren't you fucking weird? Like, can we change the narrative on that real quick? I'm gonna get off my soapbox real quick and go back to talk with your doctors, 8 fucking years of medical school. They're okay with words. Fucking use your anatomical terms, especially if something's going on with your penis or your testicles or the shaft or the head. Fucking talk about it. And that actually gets to my very first line. Look at that. We're going to bring it all the way back to the first line of my notes, which is, while there are fewer kind of like weird woo-woo homeopathic things for guys, at the end of the day, when in doubt, see your fucking doctor.
And don't stick anything up your penis either.
Right? Like, I feel like sticking things up a penile urethra is just like
more complicated.
Like maybe that has to be your fucking kink if you're willing to do that, because like, oh my god, just
I'm not gonna kink shame, but just don't.
Yeah, no, I will kink shame.
Do it up your butt. You got other holes.
There's other areas with a little more elasticity to it. Like, I'm sorry. And if that truly is genuinely your thing,
just don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. Make sure the EMTs are on standby, and make sure I am
Consult with your
nowhere.
doctor.
Right? And make sure I'm nowhere near you guys when that fucking happens.
I'm good.
But for real, like, see your doctor, even for things like erectile dysfunction. And that is where it can get a little woo-woo for guys, like, because sometimes we'll be like, oh, make sure you have this particular thing in your diet, or make sure you're smoking this certain thing, or make sure you're doing this or that, or like
taking like horny goat weed or something.
Exactly. Or like slather this weird lotion on your genitals and hopefully, which always makes me laugh when it's like, having issues with erectile dysfunction, put this lotion on your vagina. Oh, your vagina. On your penis. Like, oh really? Like, so putting that lotion on the penis and like putting it in really intensely is gonna give me.
You keep wanting to say vagina.
I
You've
do.
said it so much.
So I've talked about vaginas so much that I default to vagina apparently. Also, default to Vagina, my newest indie band.
Trivia name.
And our trivia name, Default to Vagina. But again, that is usually where the woo-woo kicks in for guys, like that weird, mystical, homeopathic, like, we're gonna cure your issues with erection. See your fucking doctor about this. Because here's the thing, there are actually some things that can help with erectile dysfunction, and that's what I'm gonna kind of dive into a little bit for a little bit. Few things can actually really help or hinder in your day-to-day life. Things like physical activity can actually help you if you're having issues with erectile dysfunction. However, smoking is going to make it fucking more difficult. So if you're having issues with erections, on top of seeing your doctor, maybe you quit smoking. Like, I mean, aside from that whole, like, don't get lung cancer and die, like, maybe now you can get it up. Now, here's an interesting thing that I did not know until I did this research. Apparently, you actually, as a guy, want to have regular erections. A penis is a lot like a muscle. It's a little bit of a use it or
Oh,
lose it.
okay, I see.
So you want to be not constantly getting erections. You need to do
Lots of tucking it in the belt, boys.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, Pat. Yep.
Right. Every man I know has done the tuck it in the belt.
Tuck it in the belt.
But okay, like maybe more regularly, more like once or twice a day.
Or like
at
you
the end
know,
of
the
day,
morning wood.
Exactly.
Having the morning wood is good.
It's okay for you to have the morning wood because again, it is a use it or lose it muscle, or lose it or use it. Like one of the two. Pick a fucking path, people.
This is some fucking
right.
Bolton. What was his first name?
Michael Boynton.
Ramsey Bolton shit right there.
Oh, here we go. And it's also I'm 2.5 drinks in, so there's also that. So we're gonna go now from erections to your testicles. In short, check your fucking balls.
Testicles,
wallet and
watch.
Right? It's all the important things right there. But for real, guys, check your fucking balls. Here's the thing. Most lumps in the scrotum are not cancerous. But if they turn out to be cancerous, it's actually one of the most treatable forms of cancer. So you want to check often or awesome. You can check it awesome too.
Check it awesome.
My brain was stuck on the word awesome, and I'm enough drinks in that it was like, keep fucking going with that word. You don't want to switch courses. So check it awesome or check it often. If you find a lump, run it by your doctor. Odds are it's probably nothing, but if
better
it is potentially,
safe than sorry.
exactly, or better safe than pregnant, as they taught us in Golden Girls. And if you have not seen that episode, fucking get on that shit. I have no idea what season it is. I don't even know what the episode premise was.
Google it.
Right? Google it. But it really was, Blanche was on a TV show and they were like, better safe than, and she was like, boom, pregnant. And it's true, better safe than pregnant.
Better safe. Yep.
And also, check your fucking balls. Like, let's just fucking do
Check 'em.
that. Right? And now, let's talk about foreskin, because 70% of you guys have it. And again, no fucking shame if you haven't. And I think we're actually changing as a society a little bit, that we're not being so like, oh my God, you're uncircumcised. That's so weird. Like, that's how
But you
you're
also don't need to get all anti like circumcision because I'm Jewish and like you know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm not here to soapbox about circumcision versus no circumcision.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
and let be. And again, the fact that we can get so up in arms about somebody who's not had that procedure is so fucking stupid.
You think British
Especially-
people are hot? It's like you're more than likely gonna
Right?
see a foreskin.
Seriously,
That accent comes with the price.
Right? And most men of European descent, unless they are of Jewish heritage or religion, guess what, people? That whole like circumcising even if you are not Jewish is totally an American thing. Like no other fucking country does this shit. So it's okay if you are uncircumcised. Like the world is with you. I'm not trying to say that the world is against I'm not trying to say the world is against those who are circumcised. I'm just saying for those who've ever felt like, oh my God, women are gonna think I'm gross because I'm uncircumcised.
You don't need to deal with those bitches.
You don't need to deal with those bitches.
Penis
like
is a penis.
a penis is a penis. If you know how to work it, that's what fucking matters. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like there are some men who are circumcised and don't know what they're fucking doing, and there are men who are circumcised and are like fucking kings in the bed, and vice versa. It's all about
Once you pull the foreskin down when it's erect, it's whatever. It's all the same.
Exactly. But if you are uncircumcised, and I hope to God you learned this like maybe from your dad or even from sex ed, I don't know. But if you haven't, you need to understand that you do actually have to make sure you clean that area. Like there's been some viral articles about guys who've never known that you're supposed to pull back the skin and clean the area, and they'll have like, oh yeah, I seen it. You want to talk about discharge? You want to talk about fucking discharge?
Jeez.
Like That will turn me off sex for fucking ever.
Oh my God.
But for real, make sure that if you are uncircumcised, that you are making it a habit of every time you're in the
Pull it
shower,
back, clean
you just
it.
pull it back, little clean it. You don't even need to use soap, a little water, a little rinsing
Same
it
thing
out.
with the vagina. Gotta be
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to use a special
Gentle.
soap. Just a little
Nope, just
water. Rinse
water.
that bitch out.
rinse it out.
And then you are set. But yeah, that is my spiel. Oh the penis.
All right.
Let me bring it back to Ashley.
Cool. So I'm gonna breeze through this. So we're speaking of shoving up shit up your precious vaginal. Doing that during your period fucking sucks, but also makes things more convenient when you got that beach party plan, or you don't feel like pads because it feels like you're wearing a diaper, or you think everyone can see it, like in Saved. I can see your pad.
Yeah.
So I realized that I wrote Saved on there, and without even knowing I did it. Anyway, so one of the things becomes fucking game changing and huge is the availability of period underwear. All right. So not only they're cute and they're comfortable, but like that shit works. So you don't feel anything gross. You don't see anything gross because like pretty much all of the period underwear I've tried or used, all of them are black liners, which is such a huge, like, of course it's going to be black. Even if you have beige, like nude underwear, it'll still have that black liner. But the way that the underwear is made, you don't see the, anyway. So you don't also smell anything gross because all the liners are like, you know, antimicrobial and like odor absorbing and what have you. So I don't exclusively use, or I haven't yet made the full change to period underwear since I switched to an IUD. However, I will say the last period that I had when we were using the Finks panties and trying them out that they were given to us free, I only exclusively used the underwear. And my period was so incredibly light. It was perfect. I didn't have to put anything up there. I didn't have to deal with it. I just went about my day. It was fucking awesome. So there are a lot of different options available from cisgender females to non-binary to trans people that menstruate. There are thongs, there are boy shorts, briefs, and so on. And they even have leotards. And I also saw they have trainer shorts. So like for exercising, like shorts that are odor absorbing, which is great for us stress incontinence ladies.
Right.
So there's an option for everyone. Having a period sucks, and it doesn't need to like suck more than it needs to. But because there are so many more options out there, it's beginning to suck less. So there are numerous places you can shop for them, from Thinx, THINX, which huge shout out to them. They're the ones that gave us the pairs to try for our cycle, and that was awesome.
We really appreciate that.
Thank
we did
you.
not get paid to talk about them, but they did give us some products to try out unbiasedly.
NYX is another one. That one is a great sort of silky feel. I really like those. I particularly like their thong ones. Those, I think even Thinx has thongs as well. So any of the brands, those are going to be for light days. And then there's Sustain Natural and so on. So anyway, they aren't like cheap for a pair of underwear, which might be anywhere from like $2 if you're like thinking Walmart to like $10 or something like that. So the prices can range from anywhere from $24 to $30 or so. Yeah. But the thing is that this is underwear that you can use instead of like tampons and pads that you're going to waste so much more money on.
Right.
These can be washed and reused for a very long time.
Yep.
So you're saving so much money. So disposable pads and tampons and whatever, it's just creating a lot of waste in the world. And you don't need to create more waste or waste more of your money, and you're saving time. And a lot of standard tampons and pads, like very commercial ones, they're bleached and they're comprised of a lot of things that we don't know and they don't disclose to us. And that's not stuff I want to put up in my body.
And that's a very delicate membrane, y'all. Like, there's a reason why, like, you'll hear horror stories about, like, a woman who was, like, a sex trafficker, and she'll have cocaine up there, but the bag bursts, and she will die because it's such a delicate membrane that she basically took, like, 1,000 hits of cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like, it stands to reason that maybe you want to think about, okay, this item that was, like, bleached and what have you, like, what's that going to do to me if that very delicate membrane is basically soaking that up?
Yeah. And it's something that we might not know about so much because it's something we'll observe long term. And I'm sure we don't have enough studies yet because like these sort of products have only been available, you know, our life, 30 plus years.
Yeah.
So we don't really know the long-term effects of them.
Right. We're just learning about the long-term effects of birth control from the 1960s and the 1970s.
Yeah.
Like, this is a slow science.
Yeah. And then on to my next favorite form of period products, although now I'm like very want to basically replace all of my underwear so the period panties are not only, they have ones not just targeted towards your period, but also for incontinence issues. Leak-proof underwear, they call it now, which I could use a lot more of. So, menstrual cups, all right? So, I don't know what life was like before menstrual cups. That was what I started using before I got into period underwear. So, there are so many different brands and style that have emerged since I first started using them. So the most amazing part of these is that you're not having to change them all the fucking time like you would with tampons and pads. Like you'd go through so many in a day because they're very faulty, they leak. So even it might leak not because you're a heavy flow, just because they're shitty. And you'll take it, you're like leaked onto your underwear and it's like, well, great, there goes another pair. And then you take out the tampon and you're like, this is like dry, just red on the outside. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, I've been there.
What a
I've so
fucking
been
waste.
there.
It's so frustrating. You don't need to do that all the time with the cups because you wake up in the morning, you empty it, or say you're like, oh, my period started, you put it in. Keep it in there until you get home from work. Empty it, rinse it, put it back in, maybe before you go to bed, and then, so it's not that often. With tampons, it's like every few hours.
And you have to, or else you run the high risk of toxic shock syndrome.
Exactly, yes. So toxic shock syndrome is something you don't have to worry about with these silicone cups because these are non-porous materials. It's being contained in this container, and it's just staying up in there. If you're curious, or you have a whole bunch of questions about cups, which I know you will. When I first started using it, I found this YouTube person. Her page is called Precious Stars. When I started watching it, she was a young teenager, a British young teenager that knew way more about her fucking vagina than I did, and probably still knows more than I do. And she's very open about, she has like some form of endometriosis or something. But yeah, she knows so much about it, all about the different ways to insert it, or like, oh, it accidentally got way too up. And one thing that I learned, which I thought I was crazy about, is that during your menstrual cycle, your vaginal canal can shorten at times, which is why I've always been like, why is it I could get my tampon or my cup in to a certain depth and now I can't, and it's uncomfortable, and I can only get it so far, and now it's sitting so low and uncomfortably that I kind of feel it all the time. It's because it shortens, and she taught me about that. So the market out there is just really changing. So one thing that's pretty new are discs. Instead of cups, they're discs. I've only used disposable menstrual discs. And I can't really make too much of an opinion about it because I've only used it sparingly within a cycle, and it was only once or twice. and they have reusable ones, which are made of silicone. I think those be a little bit more comfortable. I think it was just unsure about the whole thing because it doesn't sit the way that a cup sits there. So it sits at the base of your cervix. So the game-changing thing about this, one, you can keep it in longer than the cup. You can keep it up to 12 hours. And you can have sex with it.
Hell yeah.
Hell fucking yeah. You don't have to awkwardly be like, you're about to like get down and dirty. And you're like, I have to go to the bathroom. And you don't want to be like, I have to go to the bathroom so I can empty my menstrual cup and kind of rinse out a little bit and then come back. You can just leave it in there and have sex. Fuck yes.
Right?
When I learned about that, I was like, yes. Yes. Uninterrupted sex all the time.
I am down for that.
Yeah. So yeah, you can keep those longer. Reusable period products are going to be so much better for your body. I can't really tell you too much about there are plenty of pads, if pads are your thing. There are reusable ones. I've never used them because it's not my thing. I mean, technically the period panties, period underwear are basically that sort of form. So anyway, think about using reusable period products are going to save you. It's going to be so much better for your body, your time, and your wallet, and the environment.
Yep.
So yeah, period products.
Right?
And
get on that.
You're paying less into that fucking goddamn pink tax.
Right.
On your period
fucking
products.
A, man. I mean, one nice thing though about living in New Hampshire, no fucking like
Taxes on
right? Nothing gets taxed, so we don't even have to worry about pink tax. Like, unless your house is pink, then technically it's a pink tax because property taxes are off the fucking charts in New Hampshire.
They find ways to get the taxes somewhere.
Oh yeah, but it's not through your sales tax, so we don't have to worry about pink tax. It's pretty nice. But yeah, I think that that covers everything from our penises and vaginas and things that could come out of either.
You got one, I got one.
Right. Everyone has genitals of some variety.
So make sure that if you have any questions, any ideas, any adulting you want to share with us, we'd love to hear your adulting. Maybe we can have a fan listener episode just on hearing about how you adulted or how you fucked up. We want to hear it.
We want to hear it, guys.
Cheers to adulting@gmail.com.
Amen.
Follow us on Facebook.
Cheers
to
to
adulting.
adulting.
Our Instagram.
Cheers to Adulting Podcast.
Our Twitter, which we use when
When
Facebook
Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram are down. Cheers
to
number two,
adulting.
Watch our if you want to get some more of this like aspect, a whole nother level.
Get to see our beautiful faces.
Yeah, go to fucking YouTube.
Right.
You can watch our latest full vlogging and etc. on the experience with the Thinks Panties.
Right.
Cheers to Adulting Podcast, YouTube.
Right.
You can watch all of our episodes there. It's just a whole nother level.
Right. You get to see these beautiful faces make the fucking expressions that they're making. Come on. I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To adulting.
To
I just left
adulting.
a little bit.
Just same here.
Cheers to adulting.